Welcome to spectacular Lake Hawea, New Zealand. Inspired by the incredible natural surroundings here and the quote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished," I designed this class to move slowly. By taking our time, identifying the sensations we want to feel, and reflecting on our growth, we can set ourselves up to accomplish amazing things, both on and off the mat. This 25-minute session will start in a seated posture. I will meet you there when you are ready. Coming to the center of your mat, finding a seated position that simply feels good for you. Not worrying about what it looks like. Allow the feeling or sensation within your body to feel comfortable yet intentional. Take as long as you need to adjust. And when it feels like the right time, close down the eyes, lengthen your spine, and land into stillness. Perhaps as we connect to our breath, you find a physical sensation by drawing the palms onto the stomach. As we begin to invite inhales through the nose, feel your breath travel deep into your lungs, expanding so that your stomach actually rises. As you exhale, feel the softness and the emptiness come, your fingers getting closer to your body. With every breath that enters you, feel a sense of expansion. And with every exhale, invite a feeling of release, letting go of anything that does not serve you in this moment. Connecting to stillness, softness, and fullness, establishing the foundation of your practice here today. Very gently and slowly start to move into your body, flutter the eyelids open, and begin to transition with me here to our first warm-up. We'll start with our butterfly pose, soles of the feet together, knees nice and wide, hands onto your hips. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, draw the chest down to the right thigh, scoop it to the left, inhale to come back up. Repeating this 2 more times in the same direction. Exhaling to round yourself forward, shifting to the other side, inhaling to come up tall. Next, we start moving the other way around. Exhaling towards the left knee, scooping across to the right, and then inhaling to center. From here, we extend the legs long, coming into staff pose. Knees are soft, feet are relaxed. With an inhale, scoop the arms high. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. We are moving with this pose, so again, we inhale to lift, expand, and bring space between the backbones. Exhale to softly hinge at the hips, fold forward, and pause. One more time to inhale as you reach up, lengthening as far as you can, before one final round to fold forward. Taking an inhale breath to lift yourself back to a tall spine, planting your hands behind you, bringing knees to a bend, we'll sway them from right to left. Exhaling to draw the knees to one side, pairing it with the breath, inhaling to center, and then exhaling the other direction. Again, 2 more times through. For this warm-up, we are repeating each pose 3 times, finding 2 visits altogether. So once these movements here are complete, going from right to left, following your breath, we will come back to our first pose to explore where we can grow, what we can learn, how we can experience the second round through as a reflection of what we learned from our first visit. Bringing the soles of the feet to touch, knees are wide. Once again, we are in our butterfly pose. Take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, drop the chest towards the right thigh, scoop it across to the left, and then inhale, come up tall. 2 more times as slowly as you can in this direction. Looking to feel this in our hips, the low back, maybe your inner thighs or hamstrings. Once 3 are complete, shifting to go the other way around. Exhaling, lowering the chest towards your left thigh, scooping to the right, inhaling to center 2 more times, going at your own slowest breath pace. From here, we return to moving dynamically through staff pose. Legs are straight, torso is long. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale with a hinge at the hips, softly fold forward. Move in accordance with your breath for 2 more rounds, seeking to find a gentle acknowledgement along the back sides of both legs. From here, releasing the hands down behind you, bending into the knees. Again, an opportunity to release into the hips as we exhale, drop both knees down to one side. Inhale, return them to center before exhaling them the other direction. Take 2 more rounds, visiting each side with curiosity, exploring where you can feel a purposeful and feel-good stretch in your body. From here, we'll make our way into tabletop, where we will start the second part of our warm-up. If your knees tend to be a little sensitive, consider bringing a blanket like I am demonstrating onto your mat. Coming onto all fours, you can choose to have toes tucked or untucked, making the decision that feels most comfortable for you. We start by acknowledging our wrists. With a neutral spine, take an exhale and shift the hips backwards. Inhale to come ahead, finding a deep crease into the wrists, before exhaling again to pull yourself back, inhaling to shift forward, and one more time, shifting the hips backwards, feeling a bit of a release, inhaling to come ahead. For the next part of this sequence, we bring glutes to meet heels. If interested in stretching the feet, have the toes tucked. If too intense, consider keeping them untucked. With glutes and heels connected, inhale to reach your arms high, palms touch overhead, exhaling hands to heart center, kneeling sun salutations. 2 more times following your breath, inhale, reach up tall, exhaling your hands to heart center. Lengthen as much as you can as you inhale into this last round, exhaling hands to heart center, and then dropping your hands back to a tabletop position. Coming into our final pose of this sequence, we start with our cow belly. Drop the navel really low, squeeze the shoulders together, and we hold here for 2 breaths. From your cow belly pose, start to arch in the spine, lifting into cat. Open up in the shoulders, tuck the tailbone under, and take 2 deep breaths. Coming back to how we started this all, releasing into our wrists for a second time. Neutral tabletop, shifting forwards and backwards for 3 rounds of breath. With the intention to find a gentle release that feels good in the wrists, while perhaps opening up a little bit into the shoulder space, allow yourself to move. When ready, come back to a kneeling posture that feels good for you and take 3 rounds of kneeling sun salutations. With every inhale breath, scoop up air that is all around you. Keep the spine long, exhaling your hands to heart center. Returning to your tabletop when ready, we come into cow belly pose. Focus on where else you can find a curve into the back. Drop the tummy as low as you can, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and remember to breathe. Invite your next exhale to curve your spine high, transitioning to your cat pose. Arch into your back, tuck the tailbone under, and look for opportunities to spread the shoulder blades wider. Really incredible work. Our warm-up is now complete. We come into our first flow. Inhaling your right leg long and behind you, take a moment to open up in the hips, freestyling here. Maybe the knee is bent. Maybe you're making big semicircles. And then we'll invite an exhale to step the right foot through, coming into our low supported lunge. Feet are as wide as our hips. Back toes can be tucked or untucked to your comfort. And then an inhale breath lifts the arms high. Try to scoop your tailbone underneath, engage actively into your core. Keep your shoulders away from your ears and take a few rounds of breath. Exhaling your hands down to the mat, we return to tabletop and do the same thing on the left side. Left leg extends, moving freely in any way that feels good, preparing into the hip. Before inviting an exhale to step the left foot through for a low, supported lunge. Inhaling to reach the arms up, tucking the tailbone under, ensuring the feet are as wide as your hips, and that there is a softness into your shoulders. Take a couple big breaths in and out through the nose. Exhaling your hands down to the mat, we return both knees to tabletop, but start to shift forward. We're coming to a modified flow. Avoid dropping in your hips as you align the torso into one straight line. Elbows will point backwards, using your next exhale to lower slowly down to the ground for what we refer to as our chaturanga. Untuck the toes. If lower back is speaking loudly, move the feet wide, and then with an inhale, lift the chest high. Exhale, return to your tabletop position, and freely move, listening to breath through a few rounds of cats and cows. Inhaling to lower the tummy, exhaling to curve in the spine. Or if preferred from our warm-up, you can hold either of these positions for as long as you desire. With your next inhale, reach the right leg long and behind you, and we move through that same sequence one more time. Growing, learning, and exploring, the right foot comes through. Looking for a generous stretch into the left hip flexors. Inhaling, your arms are high, tailbone tucked under, core engaged, spine long, while breathing deeply in and out through the nose. Use an exhale breath to lower your hands for support, return to tabletop, and then extend your left leg long. Rotate, stretch, and freely move before stepping your foot through for a low, supported lunge. Observe where you feel this posture. Can you soften more into the shoulders? Can you breathe more fully or deeply? Looking for continued benefit in every shape we choose along this journey. With your next exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Step your left knee back. Return to tabletop before walking your hands forward, coming into a supported high plank position. Exhaling to lower the torso down slowly through our chaturanga. Untuck the toes, engage the shoulders, lift the heart, inhale. From here, lifting your way back to tabletop position, moving through a couple rounds of cats and cows. Exploring softness into the spine, connecting breath with movement, a reminder that our cow bellies are for inhales, cats are for your exhales. Complete now into our first flow, we start to make our way into child's pose. Toes come to tuck, knees are spread wide. Perhaps you start by sitting your glutes to meet your heels, looking for the depth of connection available, before walking the hands forward, resting your forehead or chin onto the mat. Connecting a little over halfway through our time here together, notice how you are feeling. Lean a little bit more deeply into breath. and give yourself permission to stay in this shape for as long as you crave. If ready to move into our second and final flow, invite an inhale breath to lift you up to tabletop. From our tabletop position, we start to transition to downward facing dog. Hands step forward, fingers are spread wide, toes are tucked, and we begin to lift the hips into the air. Keep your knees as bent as you possibly need, lengthen into the spine, draw the chest closer towards your thighs and gaze between your heels, trying to avoid arching into the back. If it feels good, walk out your dog by bending one knee and then the other. Taking one more inhale before we meet at the top of our mat, folded forward with feet hip distance apart. We'll keep the left foot where it is and then lunge the right foot as far back as you possibly can. With a 90-degree angle into the left knee, hips facing towards the right and arms up to a T shape, gazing over the front hand, we find ourselves in Warrior Two. Check to remain open into the lower body, grounded into both feet, strong into your legs, and mindful with your breath. Hands onto your hips next, we turn our toes to the long side of our mat for a wide straddle. Inhale, arms and heart shine high. Maybe you stay, or with an exhale, fold forward. You can have your hands under your head for support. You can hold on to your ankles, or maybe reach yourself under and through, finding this shape that feels good for the back sides of your body and the length of your spine. From here, we step to the back of our mat. Turn your torso to your right foot and then invite your left foot to join it. From a forward fold, now facing backwards, we make our way into Warrior Two on the other leg. Right foot stays where it is, left foot lunges back. Grounding into both feet, a right angle into the right knee, arms up to your T shape. We gaze forward over the right hand and take a few deep breaths. Just as we did before, transitioning back to our wide straddle. Toes turn to the long edge of the mat. Inhale, shine the heart high. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. With the reminder that if coming down into this form is not feeling great in your body, you could instead stay tall in a wide standing straddle. This round, instead of stepping from our forward fold, we'll come right into Warrior Two. Walking your hands towards your left foot, turn your left toes forward. Right foot is aligned with the short side of your mat, arms up to your T shape, and remember to breathe. Hands again return to our hips, coming once again to a wide straddle forward fold, with the intention here to increase space between our backbones and soften into the back sides of the legs. Observe where you can feel this pose more deeply. When you are ready, walk your hands towards your right foot, transitioning into our final Warrior Two, again facing towards the back side of the mat. Right knee is bent on a 90-degree angle, and your left foot is grounded perpendicular to your front foot. For one final visit, we come into a wide straddle forward fold. As you next exhale, walk your hands to meet your left foot. Plant your hands there for support, step the left foot back, and return to downward facing dog. Taking one more breath in downward facing dog before walking yourself to the top of your mat and then softening onto your back side. Once on our back sides, we will make our way into two final stretches to complete today's practice. We start first with Happy Baby. Starting this pose by holding onto your shins just below the knees as you spread the legs wide. Keeping the knees bent, soft and relaxed into the shins. Your tailbone is grounded and shoulders are soft. From here, we explore if there's room to go further. Consider lifting your right shin so that it is completely vertical. Reach either for the outside of the sole of the foot or bring your middle and index fingers to hold on to your big toe. If this stretch is not too intense, do the same thing on the left leg, and then look to remain as connected on the backside as possible. If the shape starts to feel too intense, consider dialing back to how we started this posture, releasing the feet and simply holding on to the shins. Our hope in this pose is to feel a stretch into the hamstrings and hips. Take one more breath to feel deeply into that experience, and then release your knees in towards your heart. Give yourself a hug, shake it out before we find a backside twist. Keeping hold of the left knee, extend your right leg long. Take a moment to rock the leg from right to left before using your right hand to guide the left knee over towards the right side. Allow your left glute to peel off of the mat, keep your shoulders grounded, and consider turning your gaze in the opposite direction of your left knee. Feel a rotation happening in your mid-body. Observe where you can grow softer and how deeply your breath can come and go. Hoping to feel this stretch into our glute, maybe your back, perhaps into your thighs. We take one more breath, and then we find the same experience on the other leg. Both knees into the chest before extending your left leg long. Right knee can rock from right to left for as long as desired before the left hand guides the right knee over towards the left side. Do your best to keep your shoulders both connected to the earth, right glute peeled as much off of the mat as possible. Feel a twist into your thoracic spine, so the middle of your back, and observe where this stretch can feel beneficial within you. Take one more breath where you are before uncoiling out of this twist as we begin to set ourselves up for Shavasana. Conventionally speaking, Shavasana is our bodies flat on our backsides, still and long. But perhaps today you consider something different. I've rolled a blanket under the small of my back and will remain with knees bent, falling into each other. I've chosen to draw my arms into cactus, palms resting on the ground, heart and chest shining open. Give yourself permission to reflect on how you are feeling and simply look for a backside shape that feels easy and comfortable for you as you are today. As we seek to round out today's session, we come into what might be the most important moment, a moment of stillness as we practice softness within the mind. Without the sound of my voice, I invite you to stay as present as possible, with your attention solely focused on breathing in and breathing out. With your next inhale, start to wiggle the toes and fingers, bring movement to where it feels most desired, and then slowly start to shift yourself onto your side body, using your upper arm as a bit of a pillow. Take a moment here to reflect on how you are feeling, to reflect on what slowness felt like in your body today, and to perhaps soak in a moment of appreciation for your choices made on your mat today. When you are ready to do so, start to gently make your way up to a seated posture. Perhaps eyes remain closed to really feel into these shifts and adjustments. When you are ready, you will bring length to the spine and draw palms to touch in front of heart center. Honoring the love, light, and growth that lives within you, we take one final breath in here together. Bowing forward. Namaste. Thanking you so much for participating in this class today. Your support is appreciated more than you know. If you haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Participating in these classes, giving the videos thumbs up, commenting, and subscribing are all incredibly powerful, cost-free ways to help support this growing community. And for your support, we all thank you.